Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to my first Call of Duty Cold War video, which also happens to be a settings video. In this video, I'll show you guys how to get the absolute best performance possible on Call of Duty Cold War. So to start off, if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, make sure to upgrade your NVIDIA drivers, as a Cold War specific update was released the day before the game was released. And I'll chuck a link for you guys in the description. And if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, just go to the timestamp that's on the screen right now. Anyway, next go to your desktop, right click and open the video control panel. Once that loads up, you'll see at the top left under 3D settings, adjust image settings with preview. So you want to click that. You want to mark the third box, and this slider for you will probably be all the way on the right. So you're going to want to drag that all the way to the left. So it's all the way on performance, and you're going to hit apply. Okay, let's now go into the in-game settings. So before I show you guys the optimal settings, I'll show you what my game looks like and the performance stats that I get before changing to the best settings. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm getting about 70 to 100 frames right now, which really isn't that good. This is with everything on default and the NVIDIA setting on quality rather than performance. So now, basically what we're going to do, we're going to go into the settings and we're going to boost our FPS and in-game performance. All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's get into the settings. Okay, for the display mode, in my experience, having it on anything but full screen basically just gives you straight input delay, which you really do not want. So make sure you keep this on full screen. Refresh rate, make sure this is whatever your monitor's refresh rate is. So I have a 240 Hz monitor. If you have a 140 Hz monitor or a 60 Hz monitor, let's chuck it on that. Moving down to the VSync options, make sure these are disabled. They're just really not needed, and they're pretty intensive on your FPS. So yeah, make sure you disable these. Now for the new option, NVIDIA Reflex low latency, you want this on enabled boosted because it basically gives you the least input delay possible by basically boosting your GPU's frequencies in CPU bound cases, which is basically whenever you play in low settings is usually going to be the case. For render resolution, make sure this is on 100. Sometimes it can randomly go all the way down and your game will look terrible. So yeah, make sure this is only on 100. No more, no less, just 100. For field of view, I'm going to put one onto 110. It felt like a happy medium in the beta. Moving down to frame rate limit, you don't want this on unlimited if you have a G-Sync monitor. Even if you don't have a G-Sync monitor, let's put it on custom anyway, to be honest. Moving back up to here, so if you chose 240 Hz because you have a 240 Hz monitor, you want this to be 3 below that, so you want this to be on 237. Same goes for if you have 144 Hz monitor, you want it to be on 141, because basically the way that G-Sync work is if you get more frames than your monitor's refresh rate, G-Sync will turn off, and then when it drops back below the refresh rate, it'll turn back on. So if your FPS is constantly fluctuating, going over and under the limit, your G-Sync will be turning on and off, and yeah, it's just not really good. So you want to make sure it's lower. Moving on to details and textures, you basically just want this to be all the way down. The very lowest setting, which is just lowest. Same as for model quality, just because it doesn't really make that much of a difference. You won't really notice it when you're playing, and it has a pretty big impact on your FPS for sure. Special effects quality, you want this on medium as well. So it's not something you're really going to notice. Screen space reflection, you want this disabled. It's very intensive on your FPS. Object view distance, just put it on low. You really won't notice this on low, medium, or high. It's all pretty much going to look the same. Moving down to shadow and lighting, you want these on the lowest possible, not only to give you good FPS, but it also makes it easier to see people in dark places and shadows. So make sure these are all the way down. Ray tracing, you want these all disabled as well. Very intensive settings on your FPS, and they're not really needed. They honestly don't make much of a difference. So yeah, you just want them on disabled. Moving down to post-processing effects, this is not the settings you want at all. You want anti-aliasing. Now this can be either disabled, lowest, or low. Anything higher and it affects your FPS a bit too much. Personally, I'm gonna have mine on low. I feel like that's just the best. Ambient occlusion quality, you want this on disabled. It's a very intensive setting and it's not really needed. Motion blur on every game, you want this disabled. This is a super intensive setting. Also, if you're prone to getting headaches, you really want this off. Subsurface scattering, just disable that. Honestly, not needed at all. Same as this one. You want this disabled as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all the settings. So now we're going to jump back into the game, check our FPS out, chuck them side by side, and see what we did. So yeah, if this video did help you out, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, comment, let me know that it helped you. If you guys do have any questions, you can also comment the questions and I'll try my best to get back to you guys. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias. I'm going to be on the screen right now, and the links are going to be in the description. I'm going to be streaming a ton of Cold War. We're going to be making a ton of Cold War content. So yeah, let's get around it. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.